Cross the rainbow bridge of Asgard, where the booming heavens roar. You'll behold in breathless wonder the God of thunder, mighty Thor.
Hello everyone, thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose, I love comic books. I love talking about them, I love sharing them with you. Today we're going to look at Thor 352 and 353 by the one and only Walter Simonson. These are all the way from 1984. We can see this cool cover with the Beta Ray Bill. I have every single issue of Thor up to now saved in a playlist for Walter Simonson. I've started all the way from 337, and here we are now in 352, wrapping up the setup that Walt Simonson has had from the very beginning. So we start off here with Surtur, who has met Odin. This is a great shot of Odin. Looks very regal, standing up to this big monster here. You can follow me on social media. I'll just post pictures of my artwork. Links are in the description below. I also have a link to the fandom site where you can kind of look at the plot and who's in it and characters and all that stuff. Walter Simonson is one of my favorite illustrators. He is the writer and artist of this. And the letterer is John Workman, who is absolutely one of my favorite letterers. And if you look at his R, I love his R. It is the R I try to copy all the time. There's a couple of his letters that I have copied, and the R is one of them. His S, if you look at a S, I have also copied that. So a couple of letters, not all of them. But he's a huge inspiration, as so is Walt Simonson. So Odin says he knew he was coming when the last seed of Valhalla was complete, and here that was in Thor 345. So go check, like I said, go check that out in the playlist if this is new to you. He says, but the Norns have not yet cut the weave of the thread of life. And basically he's saying, what does he care? When he's done, there'll be no destiny left for the Norns to weave. He points at the eternal flame and says he's gonna basically light his sword. He will basically set the universe on fire to do what he was about to do from the very beginning. Odin, of course, tells him that the way is blocked to return to his home, and he will be merciful. I love that. That is guts. Or advance and face his wrath. And he's like, stand aside, little godling. I love that part. Odin, little godling. Surtur basically says, so close to the flame, his flame or his sword is craving it. So Odin stands to him, says, many have sought, none have succeeded, and hits him with the Odin force, knocking him down. He says that was the power when he killed his brothers. And again, that was in the recap, I believe, was in 349, also in the playlist here. So he says he has enough power to stop him. And Surtur says that perhaps that was once true, but this time he's armed with the mighty sword Twilight, and the Odin power can no longer contain him. The sword and the flame call to each other, and Surtur is going to make sure that it happens. And here, oh, great. A big panel with just lettering and just Odin's helmet here. So now we are back on Earth. Basically, more demons are coming through the gate at the top of the Empire State Building, and Sif is leading the heroes from Valhalla. Thor basically left Beta Ray Bill in charge when he had to leave Earth to help protect Asgard. But Array Bill says there's basically a lot, and we need to see what we're fighting against. Of course, the Warriors 3 are all very boastful. So they said Volstagg to spare one of the demons because they need to, they need to talk. And then from behind, you can tell this is Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four. That he says he basically have a idea of how to shut off the gate. He basically says that he's been observing them through these electronic scanners, and basically they can reverse the gate's transmissions and attack the demons at their source. And that Bill says basically now they have to capture the gate, which may prove more difficult, he says. So Sif is leading the Warriors and basically says this is basically their last stand. So let's show them what they have. Great stuff. Real quick here, part of the things I love, particularly back then, you don't see it so much now, but these marks that were made this to create the cheekbones, man, oh man, I just cannot do them. But seeing others do it, I always admire that. So Sif basically says kill as many of these demons as possible. So so here we now return to Johnny Storm, who's with Roger Willis heading over to Scotland, if I remember correctly, to see if they can stop the winter storms that have blanketed the earth once they open the casket of ancient winters. Johnny asks him, how are we going to do that? And Roger basically says, we're going to try to put the casket together. And Johnny says, like Humpty Dumpty. And Roger says, Johnny says it didn't work for Humpty Dumpty. But Roger says, well, I got crazy glue. And so off they go here. So Johnny melts some of the ice and they go into that cavern. Notice how long it's taken. We're a few pages in there and there's still no Thor. So he starts grabbing and he is going to start putting the pieces together here. So up from above, the demons are coming. So Johnny's going to go and take care of them while Roger continues putting the casket together. Back in New York, of course, everyone is fighting. So very cool. Walter Simonson, such a great storyteller. He's absolutely one of my favorites here. So what they need to do is basically distract all those hordes while Reed does his calculations. And so distract them they will. And Asgard is fighting. And here are the demons. This looks like an arrow. It's very, very cool. And Reed says he has finally finished his calculations and it's time to go. And Bill basically tells everyone to get ready. This is, by the way, those of you not familiar, in the 80s, this is Monica Rambeau, who was Captain Marvel during this time. And so Reed says, my calculation says this is the button. I love it. They just, comic books are so awesome. So they start vanquishing the remaining. And I think this is supposed to be Storm of the X-Men. It's most likely not, 'cause she was not with the other soldiers. But anyway, Bill asks where Sif is. And this dude thought she had returned. So, which of course panics Bill because him and Sif are in a relationship. Volstagg stops him and he's like, but Sif, and he knows, but basically he's in charge. He says, there's only so much time, and essentially this is what leaders do. And Volstagg is with him. He knows that his pain is also great because he also loves Sif. Not in a romantic way, but and he is the commander, and so they await his orders. So back in Asgard, Odin says, "Your powers have grown, indeed." But he stands in Asgard, which is the heart of his kingdom. I love it. He looks all tethered, and there his power is great. So he hits him again with the Odin force and continues to hit him and hit him. And he knocks him down. And Surtur says that he can't feel the flame, and something has happened. He thinks that he knew that he was going to have to meet Odin in battle, and he is not unprepared for that battle. So Surtur makes a call for the ice from the casket that was released on Earth to come to Asgard. He needs to try and hold Odin. Odin's much too strong, so he needs that. So if you remember then from the last time, we got Frigga with the children, and the troll says, "Give me one of the kids for dinner, and I'll let you pass, otherwise you all die." And of course, Grunhild is like, "Nope," and she is going to fight the little troll here. She's trying to distract him by insulting him and all that. So she has an idea. So back on Earth now. So they have their demon here prisoner. He says he'll never talk, but of course he threatens. Bill threatens him. Love this as he just gets right in his face. So he tells him, basically, I'm sorry, I should have just. He wants to know where they're coming from. He says they're all coming from the gate, and that's how you stop him. So, they are going to now begin their final struggle, and now Reed does his calculations here, and our heroes are now going into the realm of the demons. So they're bringing the battle to them. So here Roger is working on the casket, and notice how it goes from winter, and the winter has disappeared, but the dark elves are loose in that same moment. So with that power then back in Asgard, he uses it to freeze Odin with all the power, all the winters that were on Earth, and basically trap Odin. And even then, it's not enough to kill him because he's much too powerful. So, but he is delayed enough, and he is going to go toward the fire and is going to light the sword. So this ends the issue. We're going to go to the next one. Notice there was no Thor in this issue. So that is pretty cool. He told the whole thing without a single page, a single panel with Thor. That takes guts, not having your main guy. So we're now going to 353. Great cover here as Odin with Thor and Loki. So we haven't seen Loki for a while. So we show here Thor finally. And he is, of course, still unconscious in the Rainbow Bridge. And, of course, we also have Odin here. So Thor's down, Odin's down. What shall we do? And here are our credits. I just adore Simonson. So, um, great art. So Surtur is lighting his sword finally, and of course the title Doom 2, and he goes finally, but he is being delayed. Kind of notices that everything, he goes, the sword isn't lit, and he's asking all these things. There's many questions, one answer, and of course here was Loki. So um Loki, of course, is the trickster god, and Surtur's like, Malika said you had agreed to support him, and he says, "Yep, I did, but at the time, but you know how it is with schemers. They are the easiest to deceive." So Loki seems to be on the side of the angels, and he attacks Surtur, hitting him in the eyes. So basically, he says, it was one thing that if Malekith wanted to destroy Asgard, but he wants to destroy everything, and that is not going to work for him. So he says, "Where's the flame?" Of course, Loki does not tell him, and he creates an illusion here with more Lokis. It's very funny. We're now an issue and a half, and Thor's still just unconscious. That is daring to say. So and so here's the eternal flame. Is at last. And so back on Earth, poor Roger's now being chased by the Dark Elves. But he's not alone, and here comes the Human Torch, who grabs him. And more demons were coming here. There's another horde. So they get on their ship and go away, and he got the casket completed here. He said that everything disappeared before. He thought that if he fixed it, it would disappear, but it disappeared before. And then he says, "See, even the lid works," and then all of a sudden it starts to glow. He says the casket is cold again, and it seems that the enchantment is back inside the box. So he wonders then where the heck it went, because the winter. So of course we know it was in Asgard. And as soon as he closed it, it has gone back, and of course Odin is now free. So he's about to go and light the sword, but boom, the hammer of Thor. Although we don't see it, we do see it. There it is. I was gonna say we don't see it, but yep, it's right there where the little mouse is. So Thor has woken up, and looks like we have Odin with his kids. Odin says for Asgard, Thor says for Midgard, which is Earth, and of course, what do you think Loki's gonna say? For myself. So, and off they go fight. Like Michael Cole says in WWE and SmackDown, it's fight night. So the two of them, or the three of them, fight. And so, going back to Grunhild, and she, if you see, she's got a rope around, and the troll smashes through the bridge. They all fall. So, but she is um hanged. She was hanging in through her rope. So, all right. So now we have our three heroes, or our two heroes and Loki. So the fight's not over yet, and so Odin takes the brunt of the hit, and so Thor's gonna create a storm. Meanwhile, in the demon's realm, everybody is fighting. So a lot of fighting. And here comes Carnilla with Balder. So more help. These are some of the members of the Avengers from that time. And of course, She-Hulk is a member of the Fantastic Four during this time. So they're off to destroy so that the demons can no longer go into Earth. Great panel, everybody showing their power. This is the Vision over here. Hercules. And the demons are like, uh-oh. And boom. So it is finished. So it is now time to, the demons can no longer go to Earth. And so it is time for total destruction. And in Asgard, they continue fighting Surtur. Things seem bleak. Thor throws his hammer, but does not really work. And Odin is going to use the Odin Force to become big and fight him. So tells his children to stand back and to, shoot at Surtur, which they do, causing them to fall in, and seemingly Odin dies. Love this father as they both yell with this right there. So great issue. So like and subscribe. Hope you liked it. Thor 352 and 53. Thanks for listening.